What's up, traders? So welcome to another weekly market analysis video, and in this particular video we will be covering the assets and pairs that we will be trading from 20th July until 24th July. Without wasting much time, let's jump straight into it. Alright, so we start off with the economic calendar, and looking at the week ahead, we have some heavy news, red folder news. So we start off Monday with some card news, which will be related to CPI. On Tuesday, we're going to be having some GBP, Euro, and USD news. Wednesday, we're going to be having some news on JPY and GBP. Then Thursday, we're going to be having some AUD, Euro card, USD, and again, Euro news. Then on Friday, we're going to be having JPY, some Euro news, and also as well GBP and USD. So it's always good to always check the economic calendar before you start off the week, so that you can be able to position yourself with the expected volatility coming from the fundamentals. Now we start off with the DXY as our first asset that we always look. Now looking at DXY, DXY has been giving us very clean moves lately, and if I can recall our last move is that for this particular ending week is that we were looking for DXY to test this supply zone, and which happened here. And once we had that test, then price moved lower, or rather pushed lower. Now looking at what we have right now is that we've already had a new break of structure on DXY. Therefore it means that we expect some pullback, which is already happening. And once we have this pullback complete, then we will be moving lower. Now, the extreme point of the bearish overall, the short-term bearish trend on DXY, or rather move on DXY, I would like to see price get into this 4-hour supply zone, which is also a daily order block, or rather demand zone. So once we get this 4-hour demand zone, then we will be of course looking for buys from this zone. So for the new week, we expect some minor retracement. Probably we might see price reacting from this level over here, or even higher to this 4-hour supply zone, before we can see another break of structure going down for price to proceed with the retracement. Remember that DXY, from the higher time frame context, we are still very overall bullish. However, right now the moves that we are seeing is just a retracement, or rather a pullback, to facilitate price to get these to this demand zone before we can see price pushing higher. Now let's look at our first pair, which will be also AUDSD, which is our second asset that we will be looking to trade for the upcoming week. Now looking at AUDUSD has been giving us very clean and neat moves lately. Now I like in fact the price action on AUDUSD, because all the moves that we have been looking at have always gone as per our prediction. Now from the daily chart, what you can see is that price has been reacting on this key daily zone. And once price tested this daily, we can call it a support zone, price has been pushing higher. Remember that we are still overall bullish, not until price breaks this swing high on AUDUSD. Therefore, I'll be looking for a price reaction on this supply zone, which is also a daily supply zone. And looking from the 4-hour time frame context, you can see this was our last break of structure going down. And since then, price has been also making higher highs and higher lows. Now if I can be able to zoom out this chart for you, is that you can see very neat price action from here. We just had our change of character here from this level. This was our first change of character, not a break of structure, forgive me. So we had our first change of character here, and once price pushed this high, we had a retracement forming a new higher low. Then we had a new break of structure here. Once we had this break here, maybe you can be able to spot it very well and clean from the 1-hour time frame context. Then we had another retracement giving us a break of structure. Now, from this very clean price action, what do you expect on AUDUSD? So my expectations on AUD/USD is that price will be pulling back to these to this demand zone before we can see price pushing to this daily order block from what we are having on this view here. So looking at AUD/USD.
Now, one of the biggest challenge when it comes to skilled traders is how to secure trading capital in their forex trading career. Now, I want to introduce you to WeMasterTrade.com, a platform that is ready to empower you in your trading career journey. Now, with WeMasterTrade.com, you can be able to scale up your trading career with either instant or challenge accounts. And the beauty about WeMasterTrade.com is that with as low as $35, you can be able to secure an account for yourself that fits your budget. Now, using the code on this screen and using the link on the description, you can get yourself 30% exclusive to all members in my community. Go out there and secure your trading account with WeMasterTrade.com.
I expect some minor retracement for price to test this daily demand zone before price pushes higher. Now, if we go to the 4-hour time frame, we can be able to refine these 4-hour demand zone onto this level. So what I expect is that price will be coming to test this. You can call it a daily order block, or rather even a 4-hour demand zone. And once we get to test this one here, we will be looking for a buy position on AUD/USD from this point on. So this is what we expect from our buy. So we'll be having this kind of a buy position, or from the daily, if you'd rather not refine it so much, we can be looking for price to make retracement until this point on stop loss. Then of course we'll be looking to take our profit on a would be rather a 1:2 trade setup, if at all you don't over refine. So this is the kind of setup that I'll be looking on AUD/USD. Of course, you can always look for a confirmation entry here on AUD/USD before you get your position moving up. Now let's look at EURUSD. Now EURUSD, from the daily time frame context, we've been having price pushing lower and lower. So we've been in a very good downtrend move on EURUSD. Now, looking at what we have right now is that price did the last break of structure here from the daily time frame context. So what do we expect next? We expect for price to give us a retracement after this break of structure that has happened here. So we expect some retracement, and that is what we have been trading for the last 2 weeks now. Now, last week, we looking at the 4-hour time frame. This was our first break of structure. Then we were expecting, or rather, we were looking at another break of structure that is last week, which actually happened. And this was a setup that we took in the community group, that is in the VIP with the VIP community members last week. It was a very good and clean 1:2 setup, I think, which also happened in the during the CPI hours, because this push was contributed by the CPI, that is on last week on Tuesday. However, I had to hold that trade for a couple of days, I think until Wednesday or Thursday, I'm not sure, when my TP was being hit. It was on Wednesday. That is when the take profit was hit. Now, looking at what we are having on EURUSD right now, so I still expect price to push higher, so that we can be able to test these daily supply zone that is over here on the extreme. Remember that this daily supply zone also lies on the 50% fib retracement from this overall move on the daily time frame context, because this is our swing high, this is our daily swing low. Therefore, this is our 50% move of that daily swing high and swing low. Now, looking at what we are having right now, I expect price to pull back a little bit before we can see a push high, and then of course making a new higher low. Now, we did close beyond this swing point on a 4-hour time frame, but this is not the kind of close that I usually want to see before I can take advantage of the next move. So for EURUSD, this is a very weak break that we had over here, so it's not impressive at all. I have to mention that. Therefore, it means that even if we get this pullback on EURUSD, might be a very not a very high probability trade, because of the break of structure that we had here. So I would like to see a better break of structure. If at all we had a better break of structure on this level over here, then I would be really interested in trading this pullback on EURUSD to push price higher. However, overall, I still expect EURUSD to push higher, give us a new high before you can even get a new retracement, before we can see price finally testing these 4-hour as well as the daily supply zone, which of course we will be looking to take the price lower from this point on. So once we get here, of course, we will be looking to go short. If at all we get confirmations, then we will be looking to trade the whole of this swing on Euro USD. Now let's look at GBP USD. Now, from GBP USD, what we have on the daily time frame, if you can see, is that a couple of weeks we had this sweep of liquidity here. So because we did not have a break of structure on GBP USD, unlike Euro USD, so therefore chances are that we might even be able to clear this high on GBP USD. So we might also price might have to go until these levels high over here. Now looking at what we have again on GBP USD, this was what this was our this was our last break of structure, means that this was our protected high, and therefore we our expectation was that even from a personal level is that GBP USD was not to break this particular swing high over here. However, we had a very good daily close over that level from last week. Therefore, it really confirms that GBP USD is going for a bullish move. Now, looking from what we have on the 4-hour time frame context, since we broke this high, right now we'd be looking to trade this retracement that is already happening on GBP USD. So if you are to position yourself on GBP USD, is looking from the daily, we don't have any good order block, or rather demand zone. But from the 4-hour time frame context, maybe you may look to position yourself from this extreme low, although again not a very good order block because we don't have any imbalance that is in existence. So if at all price is able to push lower, because from my point of view, what I see here is some liquidity point, price is able to push lower to this demand zone, get a confirmation entry, then we will be able to ride GBP USD from this point on. So if at all price is able to get here, this is the kind of setup that we will be looking on GBP USD. Now let's look at NZUSD. Now from NZUSD, from the daily time frame context, this is what we had as our last break of structure, and since then price has actually been giving as a retracement ever since then. Now therefore it means if this is our break of structure, therefore it means this is our swing low, and again this is our swing high that led to that break of structure. Now from NZUSD, what we have right now also again is that the price is already reacting from a daily kind of order block. Yes, if you go to the lower time frame, rather the 4-hour time frame context, we can be able to see that is a beautiful 4-hour supply zone, because we have also again this imbalance that is in existence here. Now, from the look of things is that the price is already reacting on this 4-hour supply zone, and if at all this 4-hour supply zone is able to hold the price, then we'll be looking for confirmations to go short. Now, if I go to the lower time frame, what I can spot is this is our last swing high going high, because this is again our last break of structure for the higher highs and higher lows. Now, if at all we gonna be having a break below this level here, then it means that we'll be looking for a retracement to ride the price lower. But if at all price does not break this level, or rather this last higher low on here, then it means we might be having a reaction for price to push higher on NZUSD. So our work is just to wait and see how price is gonna be reacting on this level, and if at all we have a break on this swing low, then it means that we will be looking for short confirmations, and if at all we don't have any we don't have a clear break of this zone, then we'll be looking for buys on NZUSD. Now let's look at USD CAD. Now, USD CAD from the daily time frame context, what we've been having is that the price had this massive break of structure going high from the overall daily time frame context. And my expectations is that at least price should be pulling back to this until this 50% fib zone here. That is what I have marked with this blue line. Now, if we can be able to remove the Fibonacci, then it's going to become a little bit more clear to you. So USD CAD, what we are currently doing is that my expectation is that overall price is going to be pulling back to this 50% fib zone before we can see price pushing higher. Now, from the daily time frame context, again, you can see we have had already a couple of days price going on this bearish momentum. So my expectation is that the upcoming week price is going to be doing some minor pullback, probably to get to this 4-hour supply zone that is over here. So before we can see price pushing lower, so you'll be looking for USD CAD to make a retracement to these particular zones before we can see price pushing lower to give us another break of structure, and then another retracement to finally test this 50% zone before we can start looking for buys on USD CAD. So for USD CAD, again, we'll be looking for this retracement to this supply zone before we can go for shorts on USD CAD. Now let's look at USD CHF. So USD CHF overall from the daily time frame very bullish, but now last week we did this breakout structure here from the daily time frame context. Now, my expectation is that on USD CHF, overall context, this is not some good price action that I would really be interested to trade. Not unless we have a break of this level over here, then that is when we can say that at least USD CHF.
Have you had all the Forex hype online? Flashy cars, false profits? Here, we are not about the hype. We are about the skill. Our training is real, practical, and beginner-friendly. We will train you how to analyze the market, risk management, and also how to grow your account step by step. You can visit us at Spar Mall, 2nd floor, S47, or give us a call on our number, which is in all our social media platforms, to book your slot and start your journey to financial freedom.
Is pulling back to this 4 demand zone. So overall, I would rather position myself on for buys on USD CHF, and the place that I'm positioning myself for buys is at least this level here, which is a demand zone. So I'll be looking for price to get to these levels, look for confirmation before I can go long on USD CHF. That is on a long-term context of view. So other than that, this is the only stumbling roadblock that is standing on USD CHF. And if at all we break this level, then we of course this is a retracement of the bullish move on USD CHF. But look for price to retrace until this 4-hour demand zone before we can see price pushing higher. Let's look at NAS 100. Now for NAS 100, I would like to get a cleaner chart on this particular. Yes. So for NAS 100, this is what we have on NAS 100. So overall, price did a change of character, or rather an invalidation of the uptrend from the higher time frame context. Looking at this particular daily chart, the reason I'm saying this is because this was our last break of structure going high, and this again was our change of character going low. So once price did that move, of course, we were expecting for price to do a major pullback to this extreme level, or rather supply zone that had been left by price over here. And ever since then, we have been looking for shorts from this particular daily supply zone. Now, from the look of things, going to the lower time frame again. Before I switch on to the lower time frame, now overall context, I still expect a NAS 100 to be able to take this level. Take out this level over here. So this coming week, if at all price is able to take this level, then that would be really awesome. It will be a validation of the downtrend move that is expected, or rather that was initiated by this change of character. Now, jumping to the 4-hour time frame, let me show you how we've been trading on NAS 100. So NAS 100, we've been taking shots every retracement that has been coming to these levels here. So for instance, we took a shot on NZ on NAS 100 prior from that level. Then price, of course, did the break of structure up here. Let me just show you 1 minute. So we had another beautiful break of structure over here. And once price did that break of structure, then we were also looking at this retracement. Now, for this particular retracement, we were looking for price. If you pull your Fibonacci from this high to this swing low, we were looking for price to retrace to these premium zones over here. So, and that is another short that we had on NAS 100. So again, just to confirm, is that we also had these we had these as our next order block. Therefore, we had another shot on NAS 100 from this level over here. Stop loss just below, above there. Then we were looking for take profit. That was another position on NAS 100. And for the just concluded week, we also had another shot on NAS 100. So this other trade was based on 1 hour time frame context. Once price did this move over here, so of course from the higher time frame context, we were looking for price to get to retrace to these beautiful supply zone or order block that had been formed over here. So, and once price got here, looking from the 1 hour time frame, this was our last break of structure going up, and therefore this was our change of character. And once price broke this level, we were looking for a retracement into this zone over here. That is the 1 hour supply zone. And once price got there, we were looking for that short position, and we rode the price to it was a 1:2 move though either. So our entry was earlier on this level over here, stop loss just above. So it was a 1:2 setup on NAS 100. So rather like that. Now, looking at what we have in for this coming week, what I'll be looking forward to, because we just did another break of structure on this particular zone. What I'll be looking forward on NAS 100 is that price will be getting back to this 4-hour supply zone. So if at all price is able to push back, or rather have this retracement to this 4-hour supply zone, then I'd be looking to take my shots from this level, of course, with confirmation. So if you guys need to get to check my how you take my trades, or rather with confirmation, then you can be able to go and revisit the previous videos for you to get to understand how I make my entries using the higher time frame context as well as the lower time frame context. So this is the kind of setup that I'll be looking to trade the coming week on NAS 100. If at all we get this beautiful setup, then I'll be ready to take it. Of course, what I've mentioned is that I look forward for price to break in this level in the coming week, or rather even next week but one. So it is just a matter of waiting and seeing if that is gonna be happening on NAS 100. Now let's look at gold. Let's look at gold. Now, gold last week, I did not have a very clear setup. I actually was able to spot. I was actually able to spot the setup later on after price has moved. I did not have any clarity on it, so I would not call it an ideal setup that I would have taken. So, but probably it was better off to stay on the sidelines than what to find on yourself on the wrong side of the market. Now, on gold, the latest price action is that we had this break of structure going down. Therefore, means this was a swing high, and this again was a swing low. And since price did this retracement, if you can pull the fib from that high to this low, we were looking again for price to get to retrace to these levels, rather to this 50% zone over here. And since then, price has been pushing lower from that level. So therefore, it means that this zone was a very, very important price point for gold previously. Now, looking at what we've been trading on gold is that price has also been making very clean price action, lower lows and lower highs. As you can see, this was a break of structure. And then last week again, we had price retracing back to this supply zone over here, which price reacted, had a reaction there, and then we were able to push lower. That is for what? For last week, as from what? As from Tuesday. So this was the trade that you would have taken. That is for last week. If at all you had the patience to wait, then this would be your ideal setup. Just entry there, and your take profit like that would be a very clean 3:1. 1:3 risk reward ratio trade. Now, looking at gold, what we are having right now is that I still expect the price to take out this extreme low over here. This is our our point of interest coming this coming week. So we should be seeing price taking out this level. So if at all we want to see price taking out that level, then we need to ask ourselves, like, what is the level that might cause the might cause an impulse, or rather what is the level that might cause an impact that may end to break this level. So going down to the 4-hour time frame is that we can be able to spot this 4-hour supply zone. So again, this supply zone lies on the on the premium of this fib zone, which again lies above the 61.8 or above the 50, and again between the 61.8. So this is my level of interest on gold this coming week. So I'll be looking for price to get to this level, and if at all price gets to this level, then you should be having this kind of setup, a clean 1:2. Of course, I'm always getting my entries once price gets to my POI using the some extra confirmation. But this is this is the A plus, or rather the setup that you should be looking for to trade for gold on this coming week. Now let's look at silver. So silver, I just started monitoring trades on silver, and I've been seeing very nice setups on silver. That is actually a setup that I took last week. Now, looking at silver, we are in a very good downtrend. Looking at this, we had our last break of structure, that is last week. Similar move actually as gold. Now, since we had that break of structure, my expectation is that price should be pulling back to the to the 4-hour supply zone. And looking at what we are having right now, I actually have a running trade that I carried over for the weekend from this pullback here, which is a counter trend trade. So my expectation is that silver is going to be pulling back to these higher levels over here. We have some good liquidity lying over there, and again, this is a optimum entry zone which lies between 61.8 and 70 Fibonacci level. So I'll be looking for silver to do a deeper retracement, or rather pullback. Then my entry should be ideal, should be based on these levels over there. Then I'd be looking to ride the move down. So, but however, as the week opens, I already have a position that is running on silver. So I expect take profit to be probably hit on Monday or Tuesday. Who knows? If again price is gonna go for my stop loss, that is a trade that I had already planned, and I'm ready to take the loss. But overall, I still expect silver to push up to complete this retracement before we can see the downward movement proceeding, before we take out the next key level. So ultimately, for silver, I want to see price getting to this demand zone. That will be a point of interest to start looking for overall long-term buys on silver. So that is it for the week, guys. Thank you so much for watching this particular weekly market analysis. Let me know what you think about the pairs that we've already projected from this weekly market analysis. And of course, I'm sharing these setups in real time as I take them in my larger community. And of course, again, a very A+ setup on the VIP community. If you will be interested in joining the VIP community, please make sure to contact the number below so that you can get started with the full Forex mentorship program. Other than that, thank you guys for watching this particular video. See you next time as I make the weekly market recap, which is usually either on Wednesday or Thursday. See you on the next one. Bye bye.